Some stories begin with curiosity. Mine began the day I found an old camera hidden beneath years of dust in an abandoned antique shop. It looked ordinary, old, scratched, and forgotten. But the moment I pressed the shutter, everything changed. The photograph showed an old grandfather clock lying in pieces on the floor. I looked up, and the real clock was still standing. I smiled, thinking it was just a strange coincidence. Then, without warning, a loud crash echoed through the shop. The grandfather clock had fallen, shattered exactly as the photograph had predicted. My heart started racing. This camera wasn't capturing the present, it was showing the future. That night, I took the camera home, desperate to understand its impossible power. I pointed it toward the busy intersection outside my apartment and took another picture. When the photograph developed, my blood ran cold. The image showed a massive explosion, cars engulfed in flames, and people running in terror. The most terrifying part wasn't the destruction. It was the date written at the bottom of the photograph. Tomorrow. I couldn't ignore the warning. At sunrise, I ran to the intersection, convinced that if I arrived early enough, I could change what the camera had already seen. I showed the photograph to anyone who would listen, but they laughed, shook their heads, and walked away. Then I noticed something terrifying. Every detail from the picture was appearing right in front of me. The same bus, the same people, the same cars. It was happening exactly as the camera had predicted. Then I saw it. A black backpack, sitting beside a parked car, in the exact spot shown in the photograph. I sprinted toward it, hoping I still had time. Before I could reach it, 2 police officers grabbed me, believing I was the danger. I shouted, begged, and tried to explain, but no one listened. A split second later, the world exploded. A deafening blast tore through the street, sending flames, glass, and smoke in every direction. Everything the camera had shown had come true. As the smoke slowly cleared, I looked down at the camera still clutched in my hands. Another photograph was developing, and when the image finally appeared, I saw myself. The new photograph showed something impossible. It wasn't another disaster. It was me, standing alone in my apartment hallway. That night, I returned home, hoping the future could still be changed. But every step I took matched the photograph perfectly. The same hallway, the same lights, the same silence. Then I saw a dark figure standing at the end of the corridor. Its face was hidden, except for 2 glowing eyes staring straight at me. In desperation, I raised the camera and took one final photograph. When the picture developed, the figure was gone. I thought I was safe. Then I felt something breathing behind me. I turned, and everything went black. The next morning, the camera was found lying on the floor. The final photograph showed an empty hallway. Ethan Brooks was never seen again. Some believe the camera predicts the future. Others believe it creates it. Ethan Brooks was gone. When the police arrived, they found no body, no signs of a struggle. Only an old camera lying alone on the hallway floor beside a single photograph. To everyone else, it looked like an ordinary missing person case. But Detective Sarah Carter knew something about the scene didn't make sense. The camera was untouched. Not a scratch, not a fingerprint, almost as if it had been waiting to be found. Sarah sealed it as evidence and brought it back to the police station, unaware that she had just become its next owner. As night fell, the evidence room grew silent. Then, without anyone nearby, the camera's lens began to glow. Its shutter clicked by itself. A new photograph slowly emerged from the darkness. The night security guard rushed inside after hearing the strange sound. He froze. Lying beside the camera was a freshly developed photograph. It showed Detective Sarah Carter standing alone in a dark warehouse, completely unaware that something with glowing eyes was watching her from the shadows. The camera had chosen its next victim. The security guard couldn't explain what he had seen. When Detective Sarah Carter arrived the next morning, he handed her the photograph without saying a word. Sarah studied the image carefully. It showed her standing inside an abandoned warehouse. And just behind her, hidden in the darkness, was a tall shadow watching her every move. She dismissed it as a cruel prank. But something about the camera refused to leave her mind. Back at her office, she searched through decades of missing person files. One by one, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. Different victims, different years, different cities. Yet the same old camera appeared in every single case. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah descended into the city's forgotten archives. Buried inside a dusty evidence box from 1924, she found faded photographs and an old leather journal. Its pages described a camera that could capture tomorrow. But one sentence stopped her cold. The camera never predicts death. It chooses who disappears next. A chill ran down Sarah's spine. Then, from somewhere deep inside the dark archive, she heard it. Click. The unmistakable sound of a camera shutter. Slowly, she turned toward the darkness.